You know, a couple days ago I was upset, right? Yeah.
You're more controlling than I thought you were when I thought you weren't controlling at all.
There's only one, there's only one, it's only one, just only one, just one.
Hey guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel. So if you don't know me, this is my husband. I'll let him introduce himself.
My name is Jonathan.
This is my husband, Jonathan. We've officially been married for 1 year.
1 year.
Did you forget?
Change.
Oh, you're like...
I thought you were gonna say officially and then say like extra time.
So we've officially been married for 1 year. If you've been here for a little bit, you've seen my husband in a few videos. He was in the video where I was introducing you as my fiance, but everybody was like, who is this guy? And he's using you for your money. So guys, this is my fiance. His name is Jonathan. So, isn't he so cute? And then we did another video when we first got married. Oh, I'm here with my husband now. We've officially been married for 1 month.
1 month.
So you guys can check those two out. And now this is our official like 1 year. I don't know, I feel like we've been in the game for a while. We even did another video after we got engaged talking about when we broke up. So he's no stranger. We've been doing this for a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. But now I asked you guys to send in some questions on my Instagram page, only1jess_. Go ahead and follow me there. And you guys sent in a lot of questions, child. But luckily a lot of them are all the same. So I'm gonna have Jonathan pick out the first few. Or do you want me to start? Is this overwhelming?
You can start. There's a lot of, there really is a lot.
Alright, so we're just gonna pick out a few of them. I'm gonna try to say your names on this one so you guys can feel acknowledged, because I really appreciate you guys sending in all these questions. So, _Fidela, with a bunch of A's, says, what was the hardest thing to work through as a married couple?
What was the hardest thing to work through? Living with somebody that you hadn't lived with before was kind of difficult because everybody has their own, you know, things that they're used to, things that they like, especially with just having lived on her own for a period of time. She had ways that she likes her house or living situation to be that I didn't necessarily fall 100% in line with. So that caused some friction.
Small friction.
Small friction, not big friction.
It could have been bigger, but I keep a lot of my thoughts to myself.
She thinks she keeps a lot more of her thoughts to herself than she does. Her face and like her questions, like all bring it up to like, oh, so you're not. Okay.
Like, oh, so you're just gonna leave your shirt there?
Oh yeah, cool.
I love that.
I don't care at all. That bothers me at all. You know, and it's like, okay, I get what you're saying. You're just gonna not clean the dishes. No. Okay. I mean, it's not like I didn't make dinner for you or wasn't working for you all day. It's okay.
Anyways, yeah, so for me, I would say the whole like adjusting to living with each other. And a lot of you guys asked, how is it adjusting to living with someone you've never lived with? And it's an adjustment. It's definitely an adjustment. Not only is it living with someone you've never lived with, it's a girl living with a boy. And women and men are just so different. That was really hard for me. It's still hard.
I feel like we're still both kind of messy in different ways. Jess is just more selective about
I'm not messy. What am I messy about?
She's a little messy, but she's a little selective with what she's messy.
Wait, where? So I can get better. No, this is a learning. This is a learning.
But I don't care.
No, I want to be better.
I don't want you to be better.
No, you know why I want to be better? Because I don't want you to ever be able to use that against me. Like, well, you're a little messy too. Perfect.
No, it's so funny because anytime like she's critiquing me on something, I just keep in my head the thing that she's not cleaning up, and it makes me feel better about myself. And I don't say it out loud.
Tell me.
But I'll just leave it there, and I'm just like,
Is it the shower?
Sometimes it's the shower.
But you know what's funny about the shower? It's like we both use it. And how many times has Jonathan cleaned the shower since we've been here? How many times?
We have a 3, 2.5.
How many times?
And one of those 3 rooms is like a bomb went off in it at all times.
I'll kill you. All right, sir.
But it's like it's just like that. Just that people are different, and it's getting used to each other's differences.
Yes, especially coming from living by myself before. Like, I'm so glad, honestly, that I was able to experience that. Like, a lot of people say, like, don't move out of your house until you get married, but that was probably the best thing I could have done for myself, especially because I love being alone. So, like, I got 2 years of being alone, from being a house of a bunch of people to being alone to now being with my husband pretty much all the time. And there's more questions about that, but we'll get into that in a bit. So this question is interesting because someone says, Jonathan seems like such an extrovert. How does he manage your introvertedness?
I'm not an extrovert.
And this is the thing, we're both kind of the same. Like, we can be extroverts, but we're also introverts in the same ways.
Oh, how do I deal with just
my introvertedness, my sheepishness.
Well, the thing, you just gotta, when you know Jess, you kind of, and her best of friends kind of know, like, when it happens. It's like, Jess burns really bright, like, when she gets to the room, she's like, she takes over the room, like, she's very effervescent. She's like takes hold of everything. But there is a time when that fire burns out and then like she shuts off. It's just kind of knowing where she is on her spectrum and just being ready for it to like hold the conversations and get her out of the situation. Get her out of the situation.
I can pretend, but once I get home, I'm gonna start crying.
Yeah, no, like Jess really reaches a point where she will literally start crying on the inside. Yeah. And then maybe cry on the outside too. But Jess, like, because she burns so bright in the beginning, like, it really does trick people.
I'm a cat.
So it's like, so people are like, come on, be you. Yeah. Be you. But she is being her.
Which I am me. The fun me died an hour ago. I want to go home.
Just gotta be there. You gotta be there when it's happening, or it's just over.
Yeah. So, Travel Passions asked, how do y'all deal with serious arguments?
Serious arguments?
I want to say, I'm kind of proud of us because I don't think we've had a lot of serious arguments. Someone else also asked us, like, what has been our biggest argument? And normally, I don't think it's necessary to answer that. As a married couple, you want to keep things to yourself. But I don't think we've had any, like, super top secret, like, big arguments. Except for that one time. It wasn't like top secret, but it was a huge misunderstanding.
Yeah, we had one time, one really big argument, and I don't even remember what it's about now.
It was like in the beginning. It was like I remember. Okay, it was in October because I got my hair cut. It all started with the haircut.
Oh yeah.
May, June, July, August, September. It was 5 months in, and it was a bunch of small things were bothering me. A bunch of small things, and it had nothing to do with the haircut. But I got my hair done, and basically, I was just like, you didn't say anything since you picked me up from the airport. But
so basically, I can remember now. So I had Jess got her hair done. In Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So she FaceTimes me and I was like, whoa, I love it. It's so great. Like, awesome, right? So the next day when she was coming home, I had a really long day at work and I had come home and I had made like a whole dinner for Jess as soon as I got home. So I was like, okay, I had a long day and I'm doing this for Jess and I'm really doing like, my best to kind of be like, husband of the year. So earlier in that day, Jess missed her flight. So she had to come home a little bit later than we originally planned. So when I went to go pick her up from the airport, I got all the way to Fort Lauderdale Airport where I didn't realize that she had said, because that's where her original flight was, but I didn't realize that her new flight was to Miami Airport. And if you're from South Florida, you know that those two things are very, 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 very different. So by the time I had driven down to Miami Airport to pick her up, I was just done. Like, I was just done with the day. I was just spent, so spent.
But I was wired up.
Jess was super excited.
I can't wait to see my husband. I am going to see my husband. I was happy, girl. I was like, I can't wait to see my man, to go see my haircut in person. Like, I'm so excited. I had my suitcase. I'm taking over from here. I had my suitcase. I was ready. So Jonathan pulls up. I don't know what kind of day he has. He doesn't know how excited I am. He pulls up. Sorry, I don't want to throw you in the bus. He won't even get out of the car to put my suitcase in the bag and nothing.
It wasn't my best moment, but my head she had a really small bag, and then it was like super crowded. I was like, hurry up, just like put the bag in the car and let's go. But in retrospect, I would have got it. But
yeah, but this is why like I said, it was a bunch of small things. I was like, wow, he didn't even come out the car to greet me, put my whatever. I get in the car, he's kind of quiet. He's not like, damn girl, you look good. Like, it was just silence, and I'm like, are you not happy to see me? But then I was like, okay, whatever. It just sounds so dumb, but it was just a bunch of small things that were bothering me, and I'm like, I feel like you don't appreciate me like everybody else does. I feel like I mentioned like something about like if I should have married someone else and they would like appreciate me more. Hey guys, it's editing Jess from the future. So I just want to clarify something really quick. First of all, I already know this argument is really stupid and I did not handle it well. We know that already. But what I really want to clarify is that I didn't say a specific name. I don't want people to be like, ooh, if she would have married who, it would have been better. Like, I didn't say a name. I was basically just saying, oh, if I would have married any other guy, I feel like they would, you know, treat me like I was special to them. Not saying that I could get any other guy in the world. I was basically at that moment, which is also something I should never do, was comparing him to other husbands on how they are more expressive towards their wives. And I was like, well, so-and-so would blah, blah, blah for their wife. So ladies, also don't ever do that. Remind you, this was very early in the marriage. And I mean, we're still early in the marriage, but this was like our first big argument. And I was just like, I'm gonna say it. But that is why later on, you're gonna see the second half of our argument is why I decided to stop talking, because I was like, girl, I don't think you're handling this very well. So you need to stop talking. And then it just gets worse from there. Don't do that.
Yeah, and then
don't be like that. He's like, oh, you don't want to be married to me? I feel like that's what he heard. Like, I don't want to be married to you.
Okay, so she's like, you don't appreciate me. But what was going through my head was that I ate the fact that you missed the flight. Like I didn't.
That ain't got nothing to do with you though.
No, you missed the flight, so we had to pay for a new flight. But I didn't say anything about that. I made the dinner. He
did make a really good dinner. It was so good.
I made the dinner. When you were on the phone, I called you and gave you all of that stuff. And it was like, it felt like that. It was her saying, I don't care about all that other stuff, but you didn't hype me up when I wanted to be hyped up. And I'm like, so it's like, oh, other people might, someone else.
And you didn't put my bag in the car.
Oh, that's it.
You didn't get out of the car to say, honey, I missed you. I was so excited to see him.
I understand.
I want them to understand. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but it was like, so I did all those other things, so like none of that matters to you. It was about the things that I didn't do rather than the things that I did do. So I was feeling, she was feeling underappreciated and I was feeling underappreciated at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then she said something, and I don't think it was exactly what she meant, but what I heard was that like, you regret picking me, you know, like regret marrying me.
So like I regret marrying you.
Yeah, she regrets me.
I want to say I did not say that. So that's what computed in his head.
That's what from what she said, that's what I got. But what was the kicker was that I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like,
sorry, it's not funny.
What I'm hearing you say from what you just said is that you regret marrying me, right? And if you don't like, if that's not how you feel, like just like say that right now, because I'm trying to, you do the active listening. It's like, from what I'm gathering from what you said is this, right? So when I said that, she didn't say anything back.
I didn't respond.
She didn't respond at all. So I'm like, wow, she really regrets marrying me. I'm like, I
never said that.
So I was heartbroken. I was like heartbroken, and like I called up one of my friends, and like
he left.
I left, and I was like,
he didn't even say like I'll be right back. I just feel like I didn't answer. And then he just got up and picked up his keys and he left.
No, and I remember I said the fact that you're not responding now is really like, kind of like breaking my heart. You didn't say anything. She didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything. I was like,
didn't say anything.
I didn't time to process because I have been learning not to respond right away because I don't want to be like, are you dumb? Like, I have to hold my tongue sometimes. That might not have been the best time, but I was like, just pick your words carefully because I would be like, well, damn, maybe I was just so annoyed. I'm like, don't say anything to hurt his feelings and don't say anything you don't mean. So I'm like, right now it's probably best if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. But I probably could have said, or like, no, that's not what I mean. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed.
So, I went all the way down to like, my friend's house. I didn't even get to get inside. Just called me and told me to come back.
I said, come on home, bitch.
And it's like, and then we ended up talking and realizing that it was like a big misunderstanding. And that was the biggest thing that has happened, and we haven't really had anything like that happen since. I think we're doing a really good job at, talking to understand one another, not being petty to get our points across, and Jess has done a really great job of not doing that.
I'm doing my best, child.
She used to do it a lot when we were dating and
I'm
stuff.
on my Zoom, y'all. I'm doing my best, child. Hallelujah.
You've been saying on my Zoom a lot. I don't know what that means.
It's on TikTok. You need to get on your Zoom TikTok.
What does that mean?
There was a girl who was talking about like every day at 10 you need to get on your Zoom. Like you need to do better. Like so people are like, if I get on my Zoom, I'm gonna do better.
Okay.
You need to get on his Zoom.
Alright, I guess I do. I mean, But we do. I think we do a really good job at arguing well and like talking so that the other person understands where we're coming from, rather than saying words to hurt one another.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things that, like, you have to think about what you're hoping to accomplish from the argument. You want them to hear you, and you want to hear them, rather than like say things that are just going to inflame the situation more.
Yeah. You know something I think we could work on though, but you actually did it today. I'm actually proud of you. But there are some times where we be kind of mad at each other, or like, say I was upset with Jonathan, or a different day he's upset with me. It'll be like the next day and be like, you know I was upset with you yesterday morning, right? Like, yeah. Or he'll be like, you know I was mad at you last night. Like, you know you hurt my feelings last night, right? I'm like, yeah. And then that's it. Like, we don't like, we just like, ooh, I know he's mad at me. I'm not gonna say nothing. Or he does the same thing. Like, damn, I know she's mad. I'm not saying nothing. We just kind of acknowledge it a few days later. Like, you know, a couple days ago I was upset, right? Like, yeah.
In my head, sometimes it's like, oh, this is so annoying. But she'll get over it.
Yeah, it's like, he'll be fine tomorrow. I'm not even gonna bother with the, can you tell me what's wrong? I'm so sorry. Do you think we should start doing that?
Of course we should start doing that.
I feel like it's been working out well.
No, it's silly.
You know, I was mad yesterday, right? Yeah. That's funny. Anyway, okay, so this is a good one. I am Kim Lucis said, what insecurities popped up during marriage and how did you overcome them? I think for me, it's definitely been my weight, because now I'm being seen a lot more with a lot less clothes on, and I'm eating a lot more, and I'm gaining more. So like before, it's so annoying because before I was smaller, but I wasn't really being seen like that. And now I'm gaining weight, and now I gotta be seen all the time. So that's something that has popped up. And
I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking.
what?
Wait, well, no, go ahead.
I don't want to say this in case.
Oh, you can say that.
No, that's not nice. I'm so insecure about that. Like, I feel like, so another thing I'm insecure about is how different our families are. Yeah, we just grew up differently, and sometimes Jonathan has to hear a lot of stuff that gets called up on my phone. I'm like, bruh, he's probably like, bruh, what did I get myself into? But
I
know he never thinks that, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, he hates us. Like, now I'm like coming with super healthy family, everything vibes over here. I'm like, well, buckle up, big dog, because things are different on our side of the bed. But he's really good. He's really good with that. But I am still insecure. Every time my phone rings, I'm like, oh my god.
No, it does. It's nothing. Insecurities. I'm sure there are some. My weight too, you know.
No,
I feel like it's
I love
weight.
me a big boy, so the bigger he gets, I'm like,
She's weird, bro.
I love a thick one. It's like, boy, get thicker. I don't want to say like people are like, you're so skinny. I don't want to hear it.
Nah, like y'all gotta chill, bruh. Like with the you're so skinny, you're gonna give people eating disorders. Like,
Yeah.
you guys gotta stop. Cause the you're too skinny or you're too big or like you're getting happy. All of those kinds
the
of
happy weight.
all those kinds of comments. Like, what do you guys think you're doing, bro?
Yeah.
Like, it's so messed up and it messes with people's minds. Me as protective husband, I'm gonna need y'all to wrap that up.
Yeah.
Please wrap that up.
Get off. Yeah.
Stop the Zoom thing.
I can't.
It doesn't work.
It do. You just got it. You're not hip.
It doesn't work.
It does. You don't understand. It's viral.
It's not fire.
It is. I get on my Zoom. Minnie_Nearly said, when you guys get pregnant, will you share the entire pregnancy journey with us?
No, you get nothing.
I think we would share some. I mean, it's gonna be impossible not to, since I vlog my daily life. I would basically have to stop vlogging for 9 months. But I think we decided that when we do get pregnant, or like, you know, when the kid is out, we might do a more private, like, what's that thing called?
Oh, you had to do Patreon, boy.
We might have to do a Patreon, because I feel like it's such an intimate thing, and I feel like if you're really about that, like, I would just want to be able to cap it off of how many people can see. Like, we'd cap it off at like 100 as opposed to 30,000 people, you know? So, might do something smaller. I mean, I would share, but like, I would, you know, if I want to do something more intimate, more details, get really down and give you like some personal, I don't know. I'm not sure how we would navigate. All right, we back. We're back on our Zoom, babe. Y'all ain't gonna lie, the camera cut off. And we did a whole question about sex and the camera was off, child. And they had no clue. So, yeah.
Sorry if we answered with less,
Yeah, we answered, with less enthusiasm this time. It's because we just said this. The High Fruit asks, this might be too personal, but does sex really feel different after marriage? So what I was saying, what I was saying was my expectation of what I thought sex was gonna be like was definitely different than what I thought it was gonna be like when I was not married. Like, I don't know. So I was saying, like, when Jonathan and I were dating and we were like abstaining, doing our best, you know what I'm saying? Every time I looked at Jonathan, like, I mean, look at him. I was hot, bro. Like, I was pumping. Everything I could beat and pop was beating. I was like, it's everywhere. I was really hard. I was like, oh boy, once we get married, morning, afternoon, evening, night, wake up in the middle of the night one more time. Like, I really thought it was gonna be on and popping. When we first got married, it was a little more on and popping. Like, there was like, come home from work and I'm like, hey. But like, you come home from work, I'm in the kitchen with my bonnet on. But like, it just works for us. Also, I'm not sure if y'all can hear the rain and the thunder, but it's thundering over here. But yeah, it is different than what I thought it was gonna be, but I don't even think I want what I thought it was. I need time to group back together, just my walls come together.
Oh Lord.
I'm just kidding, I'll take that out.
Please take that out. Stop it. Yeah, well, I just remember, like, before I was married, like, I thought that I had like a lust problem, like, like, I'm like, oh, my sex drive is just gonna be too high, cause it's just like the way that you like craved it back then. It's kind of like how it feels like when you want like sweet, like if you have a real sweet tooth and you like want sweets and you can't have the sweets and the sweets are there. Like, that's kind of what it felt like. And I just thought, I'm like, oh man, like, my drive is so high. But as I'm realizing is that, like, it was like my sin drive was too high. It's like I wanted what I couldn't have. Like the forbidden fruit nature of it. And now sex is just so much different. But in my head, it's like so much. The idea of it at least is so much more beautiful. So it's like kind of like versus like when you want that Krispy Kreme donut and then you eat like 5 Krispy Kreme donuts and then after that like you just kind of like feel gross, you feel like disgusting. It's like, why did I do that? I hate everything. I hate my life. Versus like when you eat like a steak dinner or like a well cooked meal and it's just like, what a beautiful thing I just ate. I feel good. I feel lifted. I feel awesome. Like, I'm like, this is such a beautiful thing. And I think that's what's the difference between thinking of sexual things before marriage and like sex after marriage. I think that's the big difference. So it's like the heat of the passion isn't as much all the time. And I think it's a good thing that it's not like that all the time. Like, even like those feelings of like being like the butterfly super feeling of being in love like all the time, like you couldn't live like that. Like, that's not a way to live. That's why the honeymoon phase, eventually wraps up. But like,
I still feel like we're there.
No, we're still at a really good spot. But I'm saying it's like, like the first date when you like touch someone's hand and you're just like,
you tingle.
You tingle. You're like, yeah, yeah. Like we don't have that anymore. But that's okay because like I feel like the love that we're building, like whether it be sex or just our love for each other in general, is just so much deeper and richer.
Yes.
Than it was at any other time before.
Yes. Okay, it's a good save, my dog. Somebody also asked us about like how to manage different sex drives. I don't know, I think it does help with like being understanding and also being selfless. It's like sometimes it's like if the other person, like say I'm on my period or like I just really had a long day or Jonathan had like a really long day and he's just like tired, I'm not gonna be like, but your body is mine or whatever. Or sometimes say I had a long day or Jonathan tapping my shoulder, I'm like, I gotta be selfless. Like, all right, I could buzz down real quick. So I think it's a little bit of both of those things. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's kind of trying to be mindful of one another, and it really helps that like knowing that your spouse like has your back and like acknowledges your needs as well. But like it's being just selfless, for one another and trying to at least whenever we can, kind of give ourselves, you know, available. And like this, and it's always especially better when we just happen to be on the same page.
Yeah, the same page one. That'd be yeah.
From all my friends that like, you know, that are married and especially like that have kids, they say like they like eventually they don't crave each other in that same way, because if you only have sex when both of you are on the same page, then those times get fewer and far between, because not having sex makes it easier for you to continue to not have sex over time, which ends up leading couples apart. But being selfless to one another even when the other person isn't feeling it, I think is the best way to keep the spark in the marriage, at least through. I mean, we're only in this year 1.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, by the way, we not professionals. Don't y'all think that. No, they think they can give advice. We're not even giving advice. We're just answering the questions that y'all are asking us. So I'm going to do one more, and then you can start looking. Yeah, I should check. Sorry, y'all. I'm insecure now. Okay. You are more than able. Okay, so Nancy.na7 asks a really good question. She says, I've heard people don't know how selfish they are until they're married. How do you practically die to yourself each day?
Shout out to Zay and Julie, dying to self. Cool.
Her. How do I die to myself every day? Who told y'all to be asking questions that are good and make me have to think? I don't know. I gotta think about that. I can't answer that right off the spot. You go first.
For me, like one of the things that was pretty hard when we first got married was like the loss of like independence. And whereas like I could when you're single, and this is why like I tell all my single friends, like enjoy this time when you're single, because a lot of the things that you can do now and do them freely, you can't do them anymore. And it's not like a bad thing, but it's like when you're thinking of you and your wife as a unit, or you and your spouse as a unit, then you do things many times for the betterment of the unit. You know, like when I was like single, like I'd, you know, binge shows, like I'd watch like anime series all the way through. But now, like as a adult man who goes to work and comes home to his wife, she wouldn't mind if I wanted to do that some of the times. But like if I did that all the time, it would cut into the time that we can continue to build our relationship, which is a beautiful thing. But a lot of that independence that you have, a lot of independence that I had, you know, it was like having to do things someone else's way because that's the way they felt, you know, comfortable. And just some of the things like that, not doing the things the way you want to do it all the time, is like an act of dying to self, like trying to best think of what would better the other person.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I think especially as a wife, you really have to die to yourself, because you have to listen to me now. It's not me, it's the Bible. You have to submit to your husband. So, and somebody else did ask me, like, can you please help me to submit to my, like, I can't help anybody submit to their husband. That's a you and him thing. But even though Jonathan is pretty good at like always including me or like asking my thoughts and stuff, I feel like submitting to like having to submit to the budget, honey, that was a hard one for me. I mean, it's working out well now, but like when he came up in here talking about we doing a budget and I could only spend such and such a month, I'm like, excuse me? Don't be coming up in here telling me how to spend my money. But another question we got a lot about finances, but I'll let Jonathan do that one. But that one was hard, but I just really had to learn to, not that a woman has to be silenced, but not every thought has to be said and not everything has to be an argument. And it's okay to let your man take the lead. And if it fails, then it's like, okay, let's try something else. It's not, well, I told you. It's just like, okay, cool. You figure out things together, but definitely having to like not being able to do everything my way when I want. Pretty much what you said, like when you're single, you can do whatever you want, when you want, how you want it, spend as much money as you want. But that part, you know, it's a little bit of an adjustment. Like I can't just make dinner at 9 p.m. when I'm like, okay, I'm hungry now I'll cook at 9. Like I like to have dinner ready for him when he comes home, or like Jonathan likes to go to bed early, like we go to bed together. And that's not something that I was used to seeing. Like, and someone else, sorry, all these questions go together. Someone did say, how does your childhood upbringing affect your marriage? But I was just different. You know, I like to stay up till 4 a.m. editing or watching TV or getting inspiration or whatever. And I can still stay up, but like I'm like quiet now because we're in bed together. I don't want to turn on the TV, things like that. So you just have to let go of some things. It's not the end of the world. Like, you're not gonna die. And I think God was good to let me have a job where I can work from home, because I am someone who needs alone time. And if I have to go to work all day and be with people and then come home and then be with people again, I probably would die. So I know you have to do that, and I thank you. Thank you for doing that for me, but I couldn't do it.
You just mentioned something about like, you know, mentioned like the passage that says submit to your husband, and I just want to say that that passage also says submit to one another. Before it says wives submit to your husbands, and then after that for the husband it said love your wives as Christ loved the church and died.
Come on,
right?
Come on.
And died. So it's like, for me, like I try to take the call like as seriously as I can. In both of those calls, like one, like if Jess like wants something a certain way, try my best to submit to that, right? Submit to that, and knowing that she's gonna do the same in respect for me, and my job to love her like with all that I have like within me. So it's like that's a constant dying to self, because obviously there are ways that I want to do things, ways that I feel like that would be better.
What's better than my way?
Nothing.
I'm just kidding, guys.
Yeah, there are ways that I think would be better. But yeah, you know, so it's like it's kind of like it's like woven into everything.
Yeah. All right, you can start cooking.
MTJ Vice, how have you done at merging finances? Oh, you want me to answer?
I think we've done well.
So basically, when we got married, we decided, this is kind of what my parents did and what they recommended, that we just kind of merged.
We decided before we got married. That's important.
We did decide that before we got married, and I think that's something they should definitely talk about. You should definitely get pre-marriage counseling. Definitely get pre-marriage counseling. I think even some people should get pre-engagement counseling.
So you can decided get your own counseling.
Oh, what? Both. I think either therapy on your own before getting engaged, or together, so that you can like talk about like a bunch of stuff before the pressure of the ring is on and everyone knows what's going on. So you plan on getting married, you just kind of like have those conversations in before. But we kind of decided before we got married, while we were engaged, that we were going to just merge our finances pretty much 100%.
It's one pot.
So it's like one pot. So it's not really your money, my money, it's our money. So every month we do a budget. We wouldn't technically have to do that, but Jess's income is more variable, obviously, because of like, you know, YouTube and like different like sponsorships. So every month it's a little different. So every month we decide on where the money is gonna go for the month, like how much is gonna go to savings, how much is gonna go to X, how much is gonna go to Y. And at the end of every single budget, with whatever we have left, a lot of times we'll divvy it up into like our personal funds, right? So like I have like a separate like bank account where every month, like the money that goes into my personal, like I can now spend that on whatever I want, and then she has money that she can spend on whatever she wants. We're not always perfect. Sometimes we overspend, and say most times it's just, but
right.
most times it's just overspending her budget. But she's doing
buying you things.
Yeah, but she's doing really good. She's doing her best, and she continually gets better.
Thanks.
But I think for us, merging the accounts was a really good idea, because we don't really fight over money in that way, because we kind of know that we're in it together, and we've also been blessed to, you know, make decent livings. So
yeah, what I'll say on that is, first of all, I'm not saying that isn't mandatory or like you have to do that. Everybody is different, and like he said, I'm also blessed because I don't know how I would feel merging finances if he made way less than me, or if like the finances are completely different. As a guy, I don't know, it might feel different.
I do make less than you.
No, but not like you still make a good, like you still make.
I think it would be hardest if your spouse or someone that you're marrying is very irresponsible. We struck a balance where I think it works for us, and if life circumstances change, then we would change.
Yeah.
But that was something that I was, you know, particularly worried about. Well, like that we had discussions about, like that Jess trusting like that I would make decisions.
Oh yeah.
You know, for the family, and she would allow me to make those decisions without being like, Why you tell me what I can and can't do with my money, you know? And we did have some of that when we were engaged and we were doing wedding planning.
Yes, because at that point, sorry, go ahead.
Because I was in school, so I wasn't making money, and she was making money.
So you trying to tell me? I said, boy, you ain't my husband yet. I'm sorry. I was like, don't talk to me about this. I got this.
Yeah. So and she hinted at it earlier. Even the decision to make the budget in the first place, she was, you know, kind of against it. Like she's like, why are you like putting restrictions on what we can and can't do? But now since we've seen it play out, like she's seen the benefit of it. Like she eventually kind of saw like the use in like good budgeting.
Yeah. So that goes back to dying to yourself. Like what I was doing before I got married was good and it was working. But had I not submitted to his plan, I would be stuck with good. No, I wouldn't have great. Because now our budgeting is pretty great. We might have to start making our answers shorter.
You chat too much.
Chat too much. Okay.
It's Brittany.c with a lot of Y's.
Okay.
What's one thing you learned about Jonathan since marriage that you did not know before?
Oh man. And I hate feeling like I know everything about him because I'm sure I'll learn something later, but I don't feel like I've learned anything too new about you. You did a good job of laying all your cards on the table before we got married. And like I said, we've been friends for a very long time. So, I don't know, I don't really feel like I've learned anything new. What did you learn about me?
I feel like the things I knew before like have just been expounded upon.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I knew that. I'm like, but oh.
I just realized that Jess is a little more control-y than I thought you. I thought you didn't care about it. I thought you didn't care about anything.
I was just trying to get the ring, baby. I
just thought she didn't care. She made it seem like she didn't care, but she doesn't.
Wait, can you give me an example? Did I just hit you in the face with my hair?
No, just about everything.
Oh. You know, controlling.
Not like control. You're more controlling than I thought you were. When I thought you weren't controlling at all.
That's funny. Oh, I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, huh? We're gonna talk about this off camera. I just want you to know that. All right, next question, child.
All right, Jess. Do you think you and Jonathan would come this far if you got married sooner?
Hell no. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was A_Gail__.
Excuse my almost French. No, absolutely not. No. Like, as soon as we got engaged, Jonathan, he was shaping up, bro. Like, he was very different. That 9 months of engagement that he was like the 2 years that we were dating. Not, of course, not a complete 180, but he was just more showing me that he's ready to be a husband than he showed me in the. We got engaged like a year and a half and something like that. No. I would have left.
I just think God's timing was perfect.
Fantastic.
We weren't ready to get married before. And
Jonathan probably would have left. Well, you're so good at like, no matter what, I'm not leaving. And me too.
I ain't going nowhere.
Jonathan's really good at that. And I mean it too. But if we would have got a year before, married a year earlier.
You'll have to kill me to get rid of me, I'm not gonna lie.
I would, yeah. Well, you ever saw that show Snapped?
No.
Guys, my camera died again. I'm sorry. It happened in my suggestions video too, and now I have to use the small camera and the audio's not as good. I'm so sorry. But we're just gonna finish a few more questions because
I'm running out of battery.
Huh?
Because I'm running out of battery?
Yeah, we're all running out of battery here. Alright, so I'm back on reading. So underscore.
Let me read this one first.
What advice did you get that turned out to be wrong? To never go to bed angry? Sometimes you gotta go to bed. No.
Sometimes you gotta go to bed.
Sometimes you just gotta go to sleep. Tailor Made for Success asks, what advice did you get that turned out to be wrong? So, I don't want to say it's wrong, but I don't think this applies to everybody when it says never go to bed angry, because like, there's been plenty of times where I went to bed upset and I woke up the next day and I'm like, okay, that was stupid. Like, there was no need to be upset last night. Like, sometimes you just gotta close your eyes, you know? Sleep for 8 hours, wake up and be like, okay, that was dumb. It doesn't matter. Like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I think it's a good generalization to not let problems linger.
Yes.
But sometimes some space from the argument can give you some foresight.
It was like a part 1 and 2.
LaCroix, please sponsor us.
Did that was a test. You didn't say nothing good about the water. Like,
oh my gosh, the water was so good. It's just so refreshing, especially the key lime flavor. It just has that certain je ne sais quoi that reminds me of my life living here in Florida.
Perfect. That was so good. Alex Sargine.
Alex Sargine?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry. She says, do you guys ever feel like you need time away from each other? Whether it's in anger, like an anger state, or you just feel like enjoying time alone as it was before married life?
Yeah, I guess sometimes. Sometimes not angry, but I mean, I feel like a certain amount of time alone is healthy, or like doing stuff not together. So you have like a life too, like outside of one another. Like usually, like, you know, building into friends, you know, hobbies.
But like alone, like you ever feel like I'm going to the movies alone, but I need some time alone?
I feel like that often. I mean, sometimes like every like once every like month or a couple months or so, it's like nice to be like alone, like in the house for a little bit.
Yeah.
But most times I don't mind if Jess is with me. I might not necessarily like need her to not like I want you to like come with me at like every single time. Mm-hmm. But like if you wanted to come with me, like I wouldn't be like, oh man, I can't believe she wants to come again. No, like that doesn't really bother. That doesn't ever bother me.
All right, I'm about to bullets. Do you ever miss not being married?
No.
You don't?
Not really.
Oh, that's nice.
It's okay if you say yes.
I love being married. I do miss, I feel like the times where I was in my last apartment, like I wish I didn't spend so much time wishing I was married, and I just sat and just enjoyed my single life, and like, cause you don't get it back. You don't get it back now. I'm gonna be married much longer than I'm gonna be single if God spares my life to like 80, 85. So sometimes I just think about those times. I'm like, oh, that was such a cute time. Like I was doing my own thing. Like what a cute time. But I would never trade it. Like, you my best friend, dog. I'm trying to be with you. So Anna Carolina _Vaz says, how would you describe the feeling of seeing your husband come back home from work? Child, I be stressed. Y'all see it when I'm vlogging, he says on my way, ain't nothing been done in the house. But child, when you be texting me on my way, I be making the bed, I'm like cooking dinner, I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's nice. Like y'all saw in the last clip when Jonathan came home and he just like, picked me up. Like, it's so nice to like, you guys have a dog, and like when you come home and the dog is so excited, like it just feels so good. And I hope you feel the same way, like when you come home and you're like, someone is there so excited to see you and happy to see you. And it feels so good when Jonathan comes home and he just like melts into me. Like Jonathan does that a lot. He'll come home and be like, oh my God, what a day. And I'm like, oh, it's just so nice to know that you're always gonna have somebody at the end of the day who wants you around. And like, you know, it's just like, oh, my man on his way home. Like, yeah.
Someone that's there, like, it's, well, on the other end of that question, it's like, it's nice to have someone that's home, like, that's there for you. Like, they're just there for you.
All right. I guess we can end it on this one.
Yeah, let's end it right here.
Okay. So, Miss _M Bailey says, was it really the hardest year as people usually say it is?
I haven't had another year. So, was this year very hard? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I think we went through a lot of hardships before we got married.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of paid it forward.
Yeah.
But and that's not to say that we won't have harder and tougher times. Mm-hmm. But this year was pretty good. I think we had a really good time. I
think God really blessed our first year of marriage. Not to say that we did anything in particular to be blessed. I just feel like God's hand was very, I mean, maybe we did, but God's hand was very much over our marriage this first year. Like, I feel like he protected us from so many things, and like he did his thing, though. Like, cause I feel like you said, like if we were married a year prior, our first year of marriage would have been hell. It would have been horrible. So I really attribute our first year of marriage being solid to our relationship with God, learning about ourselves, and premarital counseling. Because a lot of the arguments that people have in the first year of marriage, we talked about in premarital counseling. So we already knew what time it was, and the things that we probably didn't like, we sorted those things out. And of course, things came up, you know, I'm like, all right, you're not telling me how pretty I am every day or whatever. I mean, that's not what I said, but you know, things will come up, but we learned how to handle them. Because also, while we were dating, we weren't just fooling around and just dating with no intention. When you date with intention, like Jonathan told me clearly, like, I don't like the way you handle your arguments. I don't like that. And I was like, well, let me shape up, you know, like handle a lot of those things. So Our first, man, high five to the first year, bro.
Yeah, I think God, and I think based on your dating, I guess like if there's something to take away with it, I think part of God's blessing, at least for our first year of marriage, was Him honoring the pursuit to glorify Him through our dating life.
Yeah.
We were definitely not always perfect, but we always tried our best to try to choose like holiness over comfortability.
Yeah.
Like where it would be easier to just like spend time with each other at each other's houses to whatever time and just vibe, because most times nothing happened. But like I believe since we were really trying to like, you know, like not even hang out together like alone a lot of the time, we were doing so many different things to, you know, try our best to be, you know, to be like Jesus and be a relationship that glorified Him. And I think God honored that like within our first year of marriage.
Yeah. We'll see what the second one looks like. I hope it's double honor, blessings. Trying to be blessed up in this marriage, you know. And I think it also helps to marry your best friend. And it sounds corny, but like for real, it helps.
Marry someone that you like spending time with.
Yes.
It's like, it doesn't sound like a hot take, but it really, like, if you don't, I promise you, like if you don't really like spending time with a person and you choose to marry them, you're gonna be cooked.
Be miserable.
You're gonna be, because that's all marriage is just being with someone.
It's a lot of that.
A lot. It's just with them a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like if you don't like that person or they're not your favorite person to be around, you're not gonna have a great time.
That first year is gonna be hard. Thanks for not making it hard. Give me a kiss with my lip gloss on. Give me a kiss with my lip gloss on.
One thing I know that I hate doing is that when Jess has lip gloss on, I hate.
Give me a kiss with my lip gloss.
It's just so shiny and sticky.
Give me a kiss with my lip. Yummy. You like berries?
It tastes like sticky.
Alright, well you guys, thank you so much for tuning into our 1 year marriage update. I guess we'll see you again on the second one.
I'll see you again before that.
We'll see you guys we'll see you guys again before that. But thank you for sending in all of your questions. And yeah, we'll just talk to you guys in the next video.
Send us some podcast names. I just want to see something in the comments.
He's trying to see something, but I
just want to see something. We're not committing to anything.
We're not committing to nothing.
I just want to see something. I want to see the good ones.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, love you guys. Bye.
There's only one. There's only one.
It's only one. Just
No, I was trying to
harmonize.
I was trying to trick you into singing. Love and happiness, beauty and holiness.
Shout out to Ayana Authentic. You snapped on that.
Shout out to Harmony.
Shout out to Harmony. We love you. Harmony, we love you.
beauty and holiness. Only one, just only one, just loving our family, serving with righteousness. Only one, just there's only one.
We're gonna talk about this off camera. I just want you to know that.
What? That?
No.
That?
No. But
In
that.
that room up there?
Yes, but you know what? We're talking about it right now. You know why it's okay for me to get on you? You already know why it's okay for me to get on you and you not get on me. Because I'm the person who cleans. So if you leave something on the floor, I feel like you're expecting me to clean it.
No,
but nothing that I ever leave, I don't ever expect you to clean anything.
I don't expect you to clean it.
But that's why I'm like,
I don't expect you to clean it.
That's why I'm like, clean up the toast.
No, I'm just.
Even if I have a messy room upstairs, because I know that that's my job, I'm gonna clean it. But when you leave toast on the counter after I clean, I feel like it's like, Jess will get it. That's why I'm like,
that's not how I feel.
but that's why I'm on you.
That's not how I feel.
I'm like, you think I'm gonna pick up the hair
That's not
around
how
the
I feel.
sink?
That's not how I
When
feel.
I leave hair on the sink, I know who's gonna clean it. Even if it's there for 6 weeks, it's gonna be me.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
I know, but if yours is
that,
there for 2 days, then I'm picking it up.
Listen.
Can't hear you.
Listen, because if the stuff around, like say there's stuff around the kitchen, I think around the kitchen, that's where you have your most amount of like, this needs to be in order.
That's our focal point.
Where I would feel more so like stuff like in other places like would prefer for it to be in order, but like I would get the kitchen stuff like a little bit later if you let me wait a little bit later. But like your tolerance is.
I tried that. I woke up the next morning, dishes.
I was gonna do them the next morning.
No, you were not.
Yes, I did. Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
Yes,
bro.
I was.
All right, next question, child.
Yes, I was.